I'd be looking for silver to potentially continue to move higher. We're up about 2% on the day right now. Silver's had moves where it's been up 5% in a day. So 70 today isn't out of the question. This looks like a clean breakout so far. I mean, on Friday we had a 3.8% day. On Thursday it was down 2.5%, and then Wednesday it was up 5.5. So could see, I mean, there's been multiple days in the last couple weeks where it's up anywhere from 3.5 to almost 7% on very clean breakout days. So I don't think 70's out of the question here. I think it's within reason. We're right in your VWAP, so I'd like to see some pickup there. GC, we haven't returned. The only concern I have with GC is we're up at the second standard deviation band. We haven't returned to VWAP since we haven't been back at VWAP since we opened last night. Which, I mean, that's totally fine. There's definitely days where that will happen, but that's something I'd be cautious of, a potential return to VWAP. You could just continue to play the trend. NQ's just been steady trending up in the overnight. Where's Midnight Open? Midnight Open did get swept in London, so I wouldn't be trying to play towards the downside. I wouldn't look for this gap to close on NQ. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts so far. How's everyone doing today? We just gonna be quiet. We can be quiet. Let me get my YouTube pulled up. Look for it to close. I wouldn't be looking for True Day on NASDAQ. It already swept in London. So I really only use True Day when it's swept in London. When it hasn't swept in London. But yeah. Will there be much opportunity today? The metals are providing good opportunities. Like, I made 15 or 16 grand on silver last night, just on one account. And then across my other accounts, I just traded GC, and I'm up like another 20 on there. Hi, Baron. How do you make those New York, Tokyo, and London box on TradingView? So I've got, this is the Edgeful Market Sessions indicator. If you don't have this indicator, because you have to have Edgeful to get the indicator. You go to Lux Algo, and you look up Sessions. This one, Sessions by Lux Algo. This is going to be pretty much the same indicator. You're just going to have to, I just redefine these time ranges. So London, for me, I set this up as 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. You could extend this to 8. Asia, which is Tokyo. I put this as 6 p.m. till 2 a.m. And then New York, I set this as, what time does New York start? 8 or 9? 9:30? 9:30 to 4 p.m., which is going to be 16. Yeah. That's how I set it up. It's the same indicator, though. Pretty much the same. Slightly different, though. You're 1K away from blowing your eval. Brother, it's alright. It happens. Can I repeat what I said for NQ? Yeah, NQ, I wouldn't look for this gap to close. I also wouldn't be trading this down towards that True Day Open that's back here. True Day Open's back here. I mean, maybe you see it come down and we tap VWAP and then start to head higher. I'm on indexes this week. I'm really just expecting continuation higher. Go look at the week of Thanksgiving. What happened during Thanksgiving week, right? You just have this very clean uptrend. I'm looking for the same thing here. You had this very clean retest as well, where you came right back down into pretty much, I think this is a 618 off this last leg. Yeah, 618. This is really clean on the daily. So I'd be looking for this just to continue higher, maybe sweep out these highs, these previous highs this week. I do have some QQQ options that expire. I have some that expire today, and then some that expire on Friday. So I'm just looking for continued uptrend. There's 616 calls, which QQQ right now in pre-market's trading at like 620, I believe. Yeah, 620. So they're $4 in the money. I'm not too worried about them. Aren't those times based on time zone you set on TradingView? Yeah, it's based off different sessions. I set them up based off different sessions. Isaiah, how are you doing? Let me get some music going for myself. And let me make sure it's not playing on YouTube. I think silver continues up to 70. I don't think there's going to really be any slowdown from silver. Based on my trading model, I don't have a specific trading model. When you start a new challenge / combine, 50K for example, what's my average risk per trade? I risk heavier. I give myself like 4 or 5 trades. So I'm risking like 400 to 500 a trade. I think 250 makes more sense. This risk advisor helps, right? So if you're shooting for 2 to 1, right, you need 6 wins to pass, 8 losses till you fail. So you give yourself 8 losing attempts. If you have an 8 loss streak, that's pretty unlikely. If you're trading something like NQ, I'd say 20 to 25 point stop for NQ. You should be trading 5 MNQ. If you're trading something like GC, you're using a 5 point stop, you should be trading 5 MGC. Right? So, really depends. I'm wondering if you could give us a psychology video explaining how you overcame overtrading. I still overtrade, bro. I still overtrade. It's a bad habit. I know it's a bad habit. I don't think it will ever go away, honestly. How I came out of a bad patch, how you scale your accounts to get returns like you do. With all these problems at the moment coming off a big payout streak. Yeah, I mean, I've done webinars talking about, you know, how I had a pretty bad losing streak. And how I set up a plan to get back. But yeah, I pretty much just slowed it down. Yo, I'm in silver longs. Which accounts are you trading? I don't know if I'm even going to trade accounts. I'm up like 40 grand across all my accounts right now. So I don't know if I'm going to even trade. We're also in pre-market, but COMEX usually sets up pretty nicely. Silver looks good too. This looks like this should be the breakout candle where it breaks this consolidation from London. How many points stop on GC? I like to use like anywhere from 2.5 to 7.5 points. The 2.5 point stops are, you'll find those trades sometimes, you won't find them all the time. GC's also breaking out. I wouldn't be trying to fade this, honestly. Like, the only concern I have is we haven't returned to VWAP, but sometimes you do get those trends on GC where it just fucking rips all day. You're still working? I took a long this morning but stopped at break even. Nasty ass chop. Yeah. London session was pretty nasty on chop. But, I mean, you got the bias right. How much am I funded currently? I don't even know, because the amount you're funded with doesn't really fucking matter. People who talk about how much are you funded with? Bro, the amount of funding you have doesn't really fucking matter. It's, are you getting paid out? Sorry, don't mean to be rude about that question, but yeah, I don't. Whenever you see those people on like Instagram or TikTok, I'm funded $1 million. I'm a $1 million funded trader. Dude, shut up. Like, it's so annoying, bro. It doesn't matter. My total funding. I mean, let me bust out the calculator. I'll bust out the calculator. So what? I have 250 at Lucid, 150 at Tradeify, 250 at My Funded Futures, 50 at Top Step, and then 300 at Alpha. So I guess you could say I'm a $1 million funded trader. I have $1 million in funding. The tradable micro silver ticker. Yeah, so that's going to be SIL. It's going to be, let me pull up Tradeovate. Let me see. I got you, ZZ. 8 a.m. GC rally. I could see it, bro. It's SILH6. It's this contract, ZZ. SILH. SILH6. 800s on NQ. I mean, we're pretty damn close. We're trending up in the pre-market too. Do we have any news today? No news Monday. So, I mean, you could see it. NQ gold, silver pumping. Yeah, this is exactly what I said on my outlook last night. I said I'm just expecting continued uptrend from everything. What needs to happen for me to enter a trade right now? Right now, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to trade just because I'm up on pretty much every account. And no, I am up on every account. I don't really need a trade. If I'm using a broker with Tradeovate, typically I'm executing directly on Tradeovate because I'm typically copy trading, and you can't copy trade on TradingView. Yeah, I'm reading the YouTube chat, bro. I should trade more evals. I don't have any firms I want to get funding with. I'm funded at every firm I want to be funded at. Besides, like, maybe I could do funded next, but I don't really feel the need to do funded next. Tradeify doesn't have micro silver, only E-mini. Okay. Also, silver's a weird asset, bro. Silver, 5 micros is equivalent to 1 mini. So if you trade 1 mini, it's the same as 5 micros on silver. ZZ, just a heads up. But yeah, some props only have the E-mini for silver. Funded next is very good. There's better firms. And I'm funded with all the better firms, so I don't really need to trade with funded next. $1,500. Yeah, you'd probably have your risk like down to this previous pivot, which, like, if this is a paper trade. Yeah, like if you were to, yeah, that's like 1,800. Yeah, it's easy. That, yeah. It's already moving. Yeah, kind of missed the entry. Where do I rank Lucid? Lucid's like high B tier for me. I'd put Lucid like. I mean I made a tier list video, bro. I made a tier list video. prop firm analysis I did on YouTube was well worth the time to watch. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's like a 40-minute video, but I went through every firm, like, their pros, their cons, things I like, things I don't like. So, are all firms getting rid of Project X in 2026? Yeah, except for Top Step. My funded futures rapid daily payout. I don't like intraday trailing. If you want daily payouts, just go to Tradeify. Like, if you hop over to my funded futures, right? Let me log in. Actually, maybe I shouldn't log in so it doesn't show my credit card details. It's probably smart, Baron. Yeah, let's just leak my credit card details really quick. Okay, yeah. So my funded futures. Oh, well, you have this rapid plan with a 50K. It's 157 a month. You can go over to Tradeify. Tradeify has, and once you pass this, my issue is once you pass this, you have intraday trailing. You can go over to Tradeify and you can get the same 50K account for $60 cheaper, and you have end of day trailing, which is much nicer. It's much easier on the trader. So, are the advanced accounts the best for alpha? Yeah, if you have the money to spend. If you have the money to spend, yeah. They're harder to pass because you have to make additional profit on them. I think it's like 2% extra on each account. Maybe it's more. Because the 50K you have to make 6K. Or no, the 50K. The 50K you have to make 4K to pass. The 100K you have to make 8K to pass, and the 150K you have to make 12 to pass. That being said, if you can get funded with it and you can get larger payouts, then yeah, it's worth it. But if you can't hit those larger payout caps, if you're not getting payouts over 5K, it's not really worth it to go get the advanced accounts. I'd rather just suggest you go get the zero accounts where the payout cap is 1,500 or 3K, and you're saving money. You don't have an activation fee because you have activation fees on the advanced accounts. So like a 150K is like $650, and the 50K isn't worth it because you lose drawdown compared to other firms. The 100K, I have a 100K account. I think the 100K is the sweet spot because it's not too hard to pass. Like making 8 or 9K. I think it's 8K. Maybe it's 9K. No, I think it's 8K. Making 8K is not too bad, and you get a little bit extra drawdown, and they're not as expensive. Like when they had the 25% off sale, it was $200 for the account, $200 for the eval, and then $150 for the activation. Do I have accounts with Tradeivate? Yeah, I do. I'm gonna make a. I'm gonna make a Tradeivate setup guide because I know Project X we're moving away from. Also, I'm only gonna be on stream till like 8:50 because I have to take my car into the shop. So I won't be on for the start of New York session, but I'll probably be on like right after New York starts again. I've been funded 3 150K advanced with Alpha before and blew it. Have you had payouts, RLE? Back 2 bands on silver last night. Good shit, bro. Yeah, silver, dude, silver's just trending. Gold's just trending up too. What card do I have? I have a E90 M3. But it's got a check engine light right now. Something with the fucking O2 sensor or some shit. Setting stops and TPs. Yeah, you're gonna have to use brackets. So you go here to this ATM. You turn ATM on, and then you would set up a OCO bracket, which is just one cancels other. You hit OK. You set it in ticks, TP plus SL, If I'm trading, it's all in ticks. So if I'm trading gold, I do 100 ticks, and then I do a 50 tick stop loss. So this is 10 points and 5 points. If you're doing NASDAQ, it's, you know, if I did 80 ticks for the stop loss, that's 20 points. If I do 160 for the TP, that's 40 point TP. But yeah, you just set up those OCO brackets. If you're trading on, if you're copy trading, you can't use OCO brackets. You can't use brackets, which sucks. They need to change that. Crashed out and lost 3.5K Blue Max FA this morning. What happened, bro, liver? What'd you do, bro? Not accepting losses, sizing to gain back loss. Okay. Are you trading on Project X? Yeah, on X. Okay. You need to go in and set the contract limits in your risk settings. Like, you need to, if you don't know how to do it, you just go into the settings and you set this symbol contract limits. I'd also block the mini symbol if you're mostly trading micros. Yeah, I know. Yeah, dude, that's it's probably the hardest thing about trading. You know you're not supposed to do something and you still do it. I've been guilty of it so many times where I know I'm not supposed to be doing something and I continue to do it. I'll go into like a trance state, bro. It's bad. Just being dumb, yeah. Hey, I've made a lot of dumb mistakes, bro. Just look to improve on it. It happens. You know you can make money in the XFA. You know you can pass evals. You just need to stay consistent, stay disciplined. What did I change before you started scaling and consistently making payouts? The main thing that changed was I hit the lockout button. I hit the lockout button. You can see I'm locked out here. On these 0 accounts, I'm also locked out. Oh wait, no, I'm not. But I hit my profit target. This account I'm up like 14 grand on. I just shoot for the same amount each day around. I mean, some of these days I'm making less, some of these days I'm making more. Not doing anything like crazy here, but like these are good stats. Also, they wiped one of these days. They wiped this day. That's why it shows 14K, and here it shows 11 or 12. But yeah. Do I trade full time? Yeah, I quit my job in April. I was working a 9 to 5 before this. For Lucid, do I recommend the Pro or Flex accounts? I recommend the Flex, unless you're shooting for live accounts. If you're shooting for a live account, you're shooting to get moved to live account with Lucid, then use the Pros. But if you're just shooting for payouts, just use the Flex. The Flex are easier. They're easier to get paid out on because you don't have a consistency rule. And when you pull from the, like, let's say you make $1,000 and you've got your 5 winning days and you want to take your first payout for like $500, you can pull into the buffer. So you're up $1,000, you take a $500 payout. On most other firms, it's going to reduce your buffer to $500. On Lucid, you'll keep your $1,500 buffer. Yeah. I think I want to be successful too much and too quick. Yeah, that's the biggest issue in this industry, bro. Okay, Bro, do you have a DLL, Bro Liver? I think I'm gonna be successful too much and too quick. My trading has been off in December, past 60 to 70% of my combines, but lose them within a week. Yeah, do you have a DLL? You're probably using too much. You probably don't have a DLL, and you're probably using too much size, bro. That's what I would assume. Yes, I had it set at 500, but then trading changed it. Okay, so you need to get into the habit of going in here every single, like at the reopen at 6 p.m. You need to lock these risk settings, because if you're changing them, if you're modifying these risk settings, you're putting the risk settings in place for a good reason, right? There's intention behind that, but the thing that happens with your brain and trading is once you start getting overly emotional, and whenever money's involved, it's very easy to get overly emotional. Your amygdala, which controls your emotional state, it's going to take over the logic center of your brain, and you're going to do things that are irrational, but you'll rationalize them every single time. So while you're still in that rational mindset, you need to go ahead and lock those risk settings, because you know what you should be doing. You know you shouldn't be changing those risk settings. You know you shouldn't be using too much size. Go ahead and just lock them each day. Okay. So going into next year, that your goal for the first 3 months is, I want to lock my risk settings every day. That should be your goal. That's a very simple goal to follow. So, yeah. I was looking at group trading. To every mini I want to enter, I need to double on entry, as I have 2 accounts in group. Then if a long, I sell the same amount of contracts to take profit. Yeah. So, like if you're trading on 2, you set your thing to be 2 minis. If you want to trade 2 minis on each account, you set it to 4. If you want to trade 3, you set it to 6. It just has to be in multiples of 2. But you shouldn't be copy trading if you haven't had payouts. If you've never had a payout before, you shouldn't be copy trading. Doesn't make sense. It's just kind of stupid. I feel like after I lose a trade, I enter this dangerous state. Once it's all said and done, I blow the account. I realize what I've done. I've been struggling with this for 2 years in. Okay, so after you take a loser, you need to just step away for an hour or 30 minutes. You need to go do something else. What's GC doing? I'd like to see GC return to VWAP. I just don't know if it will. This breakout's, it's hard to fade this breakout. NQ is also just continuing higher. A new year's coming. I've been giving a lot of thought to goals. What's my take? I mean, goals are good. Goals are great, but you have to follow through on them. I mean, I have goals going into the new year, Brad. In November, I got 4 or 5K payouts on Top Step. Was that on one account? What are my goals for 2026? I'll post. So I don't really like to share yearly goals. I'll share monthly goals, but I don't really like to share yearly goals. I'll be honest. That's just something like I keep track of. I mean, my goal for this year was 500,000 in profits from like $500,000 in payouts. I'm at like 400 and something. You're on one account, Beats? Then I'd start leaning into copy trading. Um, just because you haven't had anything in December, I'd get back into one account. I'd get back into one account, get that one account to pay out, and then add a second account, and then start copy trading those two. And if you get those to pay out, then add, you know, two more accounts, get up to four, and then add a fifth. But if you had four payouts in 1 month, that's solid. If that's your first month of getting paid out, then yeah, you just need to show a little bit more consistency, and you're right there. I saw you bought flight tickets. Where are you traveling? Hawaii? Yeah, my best friend, from high school lives in Hawaii, so I'm gonna go out and visit him. Is this too much to ask for? No, 60 points isn't too crazy, Patrick. You also have a pretty fat buffer on this account, and your stops at break even. I don't think that's too much to ask for, bro. You want to see this up to 800s? I think this is reasonable. You are down 3 grand on the day, so maybe, you know, maybe just try to get yourself out of drawdown here. Maybe you just bring this down to like a 5K profit target, because then your balance is at 30,000 in the XFA. You're out of drawdown. And GC, this looks like it's going to head for VWAP, in my opinion. I'd be looking for this to come back down to VWAP. How old am I? I'm 26, about to be 27. I'm about to be 27, that's fucking crazy, bro. 26, I didn't feel that old, but 27 now I'm like, fuck. I'm pushing 30, bro. I feel like I was 27, or not 27, I feel like I was 21. Just like a year ago. Fucking crushing 30 packs of crushing 30 packs in college, bro. How long have I been trading? Right around 4 years. Probably a little over 4 years now. You're on now. Welcome to the club. He's gonna start squeaking soon. Yeah, bro. It doesn't help that I'm tall too, bro. Yeah, let's see if this upper band holds for sellers to step in, but this, every time it sells off, there's just buyers stepping in. I want to see this come back to VWAP, but dude, at this point, I don't know. Is the live on Discord for premium members? It's this, so till January 2nd, I'm doing free streams on Discord and YouTube. But yeah, every day I'm live for premium. What was my job before I went full time? I worked at AT&T. I was a product manager and a data analyst. And I have a degree in mechanical engineering. sellers even step up on this? There's not really like any big seller. There's like a couple back here, but dude, this is just so strong. How come you didn't just work your job while trading still? I mean, I was trading while working my job. I was making too much money to keep my job. Like, I worked my job for 3 years while I was learning how to trade, and it just got to a point where, you know, initially my job was remote, and then it moved to hybrid where it was 2 or 3 days in office, and, you know, as I was leaving, they were transitioning to 5 days in office a week, so I was like, fuck that. I'm good. I don't need to be doing all that. I also just, like, I don't know, like, I'd be able to finish my work in anywhere from 2 to 4 hours most days. So I was just, I'd be sitting in an office just bored as fuck for 4 to 6 hours. And it was just draining. Also, like, I saw people who were like, I've been in this role I've been working at AT&T for 20 years. And they've been in the same role for 15 of those years. I was just like, I don't want to be like that, bro. Would you recommend going to college if you're trying to trade full-time as your end goal? Depends on the degree. It also depends on the degree, and to me, it's always good to have a backup plan in case trading doesn't work out, because the statistics on trading are very slim. But if you're able to do well with trading, then you don't really need a degree. Like, if you were going into something like engineering or something medical, like nursing or being a doctor or whatever, then yeah, going to school makes sense, or like going to be a lawyer. But if you're going for a business degree or a marketing degree or whatever else, it doesn't really make sense to go to college at this point. You can also just get certs for a lot of these industries now. Would you trade today and tomorrow? Yeah, I'm trading today and tomorrow. Oh, the moving averages? Yeah, moving averages work. At which point in payouts made me comfortable to take trading full time? I was shooting for 10K per month. Zeke, I don't, I know a little German, bro, but that's out of my wheelhouse. Something about a Frankfurter. Something for all Frankfurters. How did I catch that monster silver snipe? Bro, honestly, it's not even that complicated. I could sit here and be like, oh, no. I was just looking at this. Silver's been breaking out, right? It's been having this monster rally the entire year. It's continuing to break out. It was sitting at VWAP. I just entered off VWAP, and then I just had the nuts to hold it. I entered like in here off VWAP, and I just had the nuts to hold it. A lot of people would have closed that trade. A lot of people would have closed that trade on this retrace. You would have gotten scared on that retrace, but I saw it just holding VWAP, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to hold this. A 3% divergence, yeah. Yeah, I'd see if this sells back off to VWAP, but it's, this rally, it's hard to fade this, bro. I'd much rather just wait for it to come back to VWAP and try to long it, but I don't know if it's going to give me that opportunity by the time I have to hop off. Was VWAP, I know it's volume weighted average price, but how do you use that? Actually, I have a YouTube video planned on it. Retest and sell. Yeah. I mean, there's a naked PSC at 57, so it probably sweeps that out before it starts selling off. This could pump up again before that sell leg starts. It could sell in New York. What are my VWAP settings? It's just H plus L plus C divided by 3. It's just pretty standard VWAP settings. It's just like the basic VWAP settings. I don't change anything on it. All my indicators and settings are in my Discord as well, in the resources section. Right now, yeah, it's stats like Edgeful. There's back testing on it. The back testing is really good. It's better than any other tool I've seen. And then it's got stats like Edgeful, journaling like TradeZilla. And then there's integration. He's currently the guy who's making it. He's integrating Project X API connections, and I'm sure Tradeovate and other platforms are coming. It's pretty early in its development cycle, though. Have I changed anything in my confluences? Now I'm using Profitable instead of Bookmap. No, Profitable is just easier to read than Bookmap. I haven't really changed anything. I mean, like, I have reels back in May showing me using CVD divergences. I know, like, that's been a newer trend that I've seen pop up in the last 2 or 3 months. People using CVD divergences. I've been using them for months now. Do I only use VWAP? No. That negative POC just swept. See if we sell off now. I just don't think there's not enough sellers in this market. Like, this was a big sell candle, big delta difference on the sell candle, and we just didn't move down. This could be a retest, but I'm just my sell and buy button disappeared on TradingView Mobile. I don't know how to fix that, unfortunately. Alright, I've got like 15 more minutes before I have to head out. Did I become profitable? I started getting consistent payouts back in May 2024. How did I get into this type of trading? I mean, my main mentor, the main guy I was following was Carmine, and he uses a lot of volume concepts. I tried ICT concepts for a year and a half. That shit did not work for me. I was way more profitable just using fibs than ICT concepts, so I just kind of stopped using them. What do I think a healthy DLL is? Depends on the trader. I'm actually going to make a video on that, how to set DLLs. Or what your DLL should be. EQ's displacing pre-market. This looks like it might come back down. GC, hard to fade this, bro. Do I think silver hits all-time highs or retraces? I mean, this could hit 70s today. It's just been silver is a little different than GC. GC likes to use these upper bands. It likes to trade, between VWAP and bands, or it likes to ride the bands. Silver, what I've noticed is it just likes to sit around VWAP and then have these pops where you start ripping up, and then it will ride these bands sometimes, but for the most part, it just likes to sit around VWAP. What is the VWAP plus bands indicator? It's just VWAP auto-anchored, and then you just apply bands to it. You just apply band multiplier 1 and 2, and then turn on the bands. It's nothing crazy. Silver or gold? I'm picking gold, bro. Silver's really nice right now. It's parabolic, but I feel like gold's much easier to find setups and be consistent on. Silver's, how I've compared them is silver's like NASDAQ, gold's like ES. I've been consistent with gold too, so I don't want to fuck something up that's been working well. Yeah, Ryan, you can either shoot me a DM. It might take me a couple hours to respond, but yeah, you can either shoot me a DM, tag me in the trading chat, or just ask them in the live. Do I mentor people? I do. Apparently there's this Fed speaker today. They just said that they don't see a recession in the near term. RLE, have you taken a payout? 3,800 on XFA. Also, what size account is it? Is it 50K, 150K, 100K? That changes the answer. If I had $0 and it's a 50K, I'm taking the payout, bro. I'm taking as much as I can out of that account. talked about silver in your stream yesterday. It's a huge alarm I saw. Yeah. It's crazy. Not that crazy though. Am I gonna trade tomorrow? Yeah. I mean, if I had trades in the overnight, like, here's the thing with prop firms. If you get winning days or you're up a certain amount, you should just take the day. Like, you don't need to trade every day. I mean, like, my Lucid accounts are up 3K on 5 accounts. My Alpha, I'm up 2K on 2 accounts on my zeros, and then I just got a winning day so I can request a payout. My Tradeify, I'm up 2,500 on 1 account, and then my XFA, I'm up a good bit. How do you trade silver? It's different from GC. It trades differently from GC. It's one, it's more volatile. Two, it likes to hang out around VWAP. It doesn't really like to trade above or below bands for the most part. Like, you're mostly just trading at or around VWAP, and then you'll get pops kind of out of nowhere. And then, yeah, it's just it's more momentum based. There's more momentum in silver, but it's pretty similar. With silver, you're still interested when it taps VWAP and then scale into it when it's pushing near first standard deviation. If I was trading silver, I'm mostly looking at just taking trades off VWAP. Every time you trade silver, I've noticed it's VWAP related with momentum. Yeah. Like, it's got a lot of momentum behind it, so I just want to be trying to get in as close to VWAP. Have I ever made a lot of payouts and gone to zero? I mean, I haven't gone to zero, but July through September, I didn't take any payouts, and it was a lot of, I had to make a lot of adjustments because I was previously getting paid out $50K per month before that. Can I recap the silver trade I took earlier? It was literally just long off VWAP. It was just long off VWAP and then just hold with momentum. Just have the nuts to hold it. That's pretty much the trade, bro. It was just long off VWAP, have the nuts to hold it. Why was my target where it was? My target was up at like 70s. We didn't push up to 70s. I got out like up at the top here. I just saw price starting to stall out. So I just exited. Yeah, plasma. Most of the time these new week open gaps, these don't fill the first day of the week. And it's also a short week, so I'm expecting continuation higher. I wouldn't be scared to long it. What was the reasons for 70s though? I mean, like, if you look, okay, we're up 2.18% right now. 70 is the next big psych level, first off. If you go up to 70, so we're up, what, 2.2%? You'd be up like 3.5% if you go up to 70s. And if you look at previous moves of silver, a lot of the time it's moving anywhere from 3.5% to like 6%. Like Friday we moved 3.5%. Wednesday we moved 5.5%. What was this? Thursday 2 weeks ago we moved 6%. Monday last week we moved 2.5%. Tuesday we moved 4%. Monday we moved 3.5%. Friday we moved 6.6%. So it's just based off percentage moves. All right, got like 5 to 10 minutes here before I have to go take my car in. I just have to wake Eric up so he can come pick me up after. How's the day been? I mean, I just woke up like hour and a half ago. But, I mean, last night was really good, so it's kind of hard to have a bad day today. Last night was really good. What country am I? I'm in the U.S. I'm in Florida. I was previously in Texas. Has gold done what I expected? I expected it to move higher today. I didn't expect it to move this much higher, but yeah, it's done what I expected. Am I going to start trading NQ in January? Why would I? I've been very consistent with gold. This is your issue, Plasma. You want to bounce around between things. I've found consistency in gold, so why should I switch off it? You know? I haven't found my consistency yet. That's why. Because you bounced, you switch between things too often. You need to stick with something for at least like a month. Which I'm glad you're paper trading right now till the end of the year. I think it's good for you. You need to do it. I know you said you feel like you're making no progress, but you need to do shit you don't want to do. Yeah, you'll have access to all the recordings, Mike, and then you'll still have access to check-in calls. Bouncing between NQ and GC is too much. You're not sure which one to drop. Look at your stats at the end of this. Look at your stats at the end of this month and see which one's better. GC stats are so bad for me, then drop GC. That's an easy answer. You're in West Palm. I'm like north of Tampa. I gotta go take my car in, but I'll be on for New York session when I get back. GC does the most random jack shit. Dude, I feel like GC is so easy for me to read. I think it's probably bad timing, Plasma. Alright. Yeah, I'll be back on stream in like an hour or so. Maybe sooner. I mean, the shop's just